Wonderful. And this is I want to say the third, yes, the third of 7 workshops that we're going to be doing, that we are doing, which are exploring what you might call a super mindset, kind of states of mind and installing states of mind, giving us quicker access to them to help us to um, live life a more successful life. And at the beginning, on the first one, we discussed what we mean by success, and we're not talking necessarily kind of world fame and lots of money. We're just talking about identifying the kind of life you want to be living and succeeding in living that kind of life, the kind of person you want to be, and living your life as that person. And so far, we've looked at clarity and self-belief. However, they will only get you so far. So tonight we're adding a new ingredient into the pot, and we're looking at determination. And determination is a combination of 3 things, or can be broken into a combination of 3 things: resilience, motivation, and tenacity. Just going for it. And it's important to remember there's a slight difference, because I've mentioned determination and motivation there. And if motivation is on this step, determination is the step higher, because motivation is the thing that just, it helps you get things done. You know, if there's some housework to be done, you get the motivation, you get it done. If you want to go to the gym, you pick up the motivation and you get yourself to the gym. Determination is a step higher, because determination is, I'm not just going to do this thing, but no matter what the odds are, I'm going to battle on and carry on until I get where I want to get. So determination can really get us through the challenges and the things that step up to block us. And we all have determination. It's just we're not always using it to its fullness all the time. So one of the first things when it comes to determination that we need to look at, to identify, is our purpose. Our purpose, our why. Why are we doing this? Why are we living life? Why are we, why is it we want to do this? What is it it's giving us? What is it going to give us? And it's important to not confuse results with purpose. Yeah. Result is the thing you get for doing the thing. The purpose is the reason behind why you're doing it in the first place. So what we need to look at are a few things here, and this is the first exercise. I was going to say you might need a pen and paper, but this one's pretty straightforward to remember, and you can watch this again, and it's right at the beginning, so you'll be able to find it. So we need to discover our why. You know, what is the reason we get up every morning? If we're living our true self, if we're living our most authentic life, what is that purpose for getting up every morning? What is our cause? What is our belief? And to discover our why, there's a few questions we can ask ourselves. And if you get a piece of paper, you don't have to do this now. If you get a piece of paper and draw 3 circles, one within each other. And we're going to write our answers in the circles. Now, the first circle, the inner circle on that 3, will be the why. And so in that circle, we answer these 3 questions. What's my motivation? Why is it I want to be that person? Why is it I want those things in my life? Why is it I want to live my life this way? So the motivation. What is my purpose? And what is my inspiration? What inspires me to reach towards being that person or doing that thing? Once you've answered them, write those answers in the first circle on the inside and just label it why. The next circle, moving out, we go for the how. How am I doing it? How am I becoming that person? How am I achieving that goal, that career? How am I, the practicalities, how is that going to happen? and then in the gap that the outer circle forms. When I'm following my purpose, when I've got my why, when I know how I'm going about it, what are the results? What does it produce? What does it bring to me? What does it give to me? And in doing those and writing them down there, it gives you a nice little diagram which will map out your why. And you'll kind of know when you've got it right. A little bit like when we talk about clarity, when you're on the right track, when you're hitting close to hitting that nail on the head, you tend to feel a buzz. That's how I'd say it. You get a buzz, you get an excitement when you look at it, you go, yes, that is it. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. That's the purpose. That's where I'm heading. And you feel, it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like, yes, come on, let's do something now to make that happen. And so just that simple exercise will help you identify your why and your purpose and what's driving that. Have I got a diagram? I can draw you a diagram if you want one. So I was going to do one actually, but you're going to see how bad I am at drawing circles for a start. 1, 2, 3. Why? How? What? No expense spared on this diagram. Top graphics ensued. There you go. That's the diagram. So, couldn't be any simpler. In the center, the why. So those 3 questions again. What's my motivation? What's my purpose? What might need to be, I'm going to have to write small or get a big piece of paper. What is my motivation? What is my purpose? What's my inspiration? And those answers go in the middle circle there. Following that is your how. So how am I going about it? How am I making it happen? How is this going to become a thing? You know, how am I making that happen now, not just in the future? Because, if you're tuning your mind in and you're focusing on it, subtly you're going to be doing things that move you towards it, even if you're not consciously aware of them. And one of the good things about this is it brings stuff into more conscious awareness, which means we can be more mindful about it, which means we're more focused on making it happen. And then we move on to the what on the outer circle. And in the what, you write, what do I get when I do this, when I become this person, when I get this job, whatever it is that you're focusing on, when you want that success, what are the results? Or what are the services that come about? What's the product of this journey? So really simple. But then once you've got it, you can look at it and you can muse over it. And like I say, you'll look at it and go, oh, yes. And you'll feel that kind of whoosh of energy that says, let's do this. If you're not quite feeling that, it's not quite right. You need to just tweak it a little bit and keep tweaking it until you feel that kind of yes. And you do know, it's like everything sits in place. Do you know what? I was going to do a little slide thing for that, but you know what? My diagram I thought wasn't too bad. So very simple, and I'll put maybe a different picture than that up, but I'll put something up with it when I post the video up. I might even edit it in. I might be clever. I have to do that tomorrow if I'm going to do that. So we've got our why, we've got our reason, we've got our motivation, we've got our, this establishes the direction. The next thing to remember when it comes to having a successful life, and again, I'm going to keep reiterating this, that does not mean fame and fortune. It just means living a life that makes you happy, fulfills you, and that you're content with. That, if you're living your life like that, that's successful. The other thing to remember is, and it's a phrase that comes from neuro-linguistic programming, don't even ask me to start spelling all that, which we'll simplify to NLP, just because it's shorter. And there's a phrase that comes from NLP, and it's used a lot, and it's been taken on by business world as well over the years, and that is, there is no failure, only feedback. And that's all about how we're looking at things. It's all how we're looking at it. You could have something not work the way you wanted it to straight away. It's not perfect straight away. And you're just like, oh, I failed, and oh, it's rubbish, and I'm not going to be able to do it, and that's not what we want. What this statement, there is no failure, only feedback, says is, okay, it's probably realistically that place you're working towards isn't going to happen overnight. You might be lucky, could happen, but likelihood is it's going to take time, and it's going to be like this. There'll be some up times when you're really moving towards, and then there's going to be down times when you're moving away from, or at least it feels like you are. But there is no failure, only feedback. So every time you do something to move you towards that goal, that successful you, and it doesn't quite work out, doesn't go according to plan, it's an opportunity to learn, to look at that situation and go, okay, hasn't worked this time. What can I take from this? What bits have been good? What can I learn from? What can I do differently? Remember, we've spoken about this quite a lot in the past with different things. You only have to do one thing different to get a different result. Yeah. Keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different result, you're not going to get it. You only have to change one little part of that to change the outcome. So there is no failure, only feedback. In fact, determination can turn failure into success by seeing it as an opportunity to learn, seeing it as an opportunity to build on what you've done so far. And you know what? It's good to make failure your friend, because it really is okay for it not to work straight away. If you're going for something, whether it's an interview or a type of job or a career move or whatever, not everything you're going to try is going to work. I mean, in the last 10, 15 years of doing this stuff and the hypnosis hypnotherapy, I've been on some amazing courses and done some amazing training with amazing people, which have really been brilliant. I've done some where you're getting halfway through it and going, why did I pay for this? Oh, this is mess this up. You could argue, maybe the people teaching it have messed it up, but actually that's kind of taking a failure mindset. If I take the attitude that there's only feedback, then I can look at that situation and go, okay, what have I learned from this? Well, I know that if they're making this kind of claim and this kind of claim not to go there, it's probably not worth it. Also, it's taught me that when I come to teaching this in the future, if I do, then I don't want to be like those people. So it gives me a better idea of how I want to present this to the world later on down the track. So it's not failure. I've not messed up by going and booking a NAF course. There's still a lot I can take from it. There's still a lot I can learn. So we've got our why, we've got our kind of motivation, we've got our sense of, you know what, there is no failure here. I will get there. It's going to be up and down. There'll be challenges along the way, and I will learn from the difficult times. I'll learn from those times when it doesn't work. Then comes my favorite bit, the leap of faith. Just do it. And on the 3-week meditation training that we've just done, I will have said there, the only way you fail at meditation, the only meditation session that ever fails is the one you do not do. The only way you don't succeed at creating a successful life is if you never do anything to create it. It's really simple. The only way you fail to go for a walk is if you don't get up and go for a walk. It's a really simple thing. So when it comes to becoming that person that you want to be, when it comes to living the life you want to live as fully and as much as you possibly can, once you know why you're doing it, once you know what it's going to bring you, what you're getting from it, then just do it. Do it. There's let me see if I can remember this. I think we talked about it maybe in last session actually, on clarity, that idea of, really, really, really wealthy millionaires, billionaires who aren't happy. And when questioned, they go, well, I'll be happy when I've earned this amount. And it's like, well, why are you putting that off? Why are you putting off happiness? Why not? Is it not better to be happy every day, or be a little bit happy every day, even if you're not fully happy? Um, just do it. Just do it. Part of the journey of personal development, personal growth is it's a learning journey. If you take it, if you look at it as a spiritual journey, then it's still a learning journey. Um, and one of the things that can really get in our way is like, we've got the thing we want to do. We've got that's something, and we're like, yes, that's it. And then we don't do it because in our heads we can't do it until it's perfect. It's got to be perfect. If it's not perfect, if I don't get it right, then oh no. And it really doesn't have to be perfect straight away. That's part of the journey, is you learn how to improve it and you get better. Nothing. If we spend a lifetime pursuing perfection, we will end up sad and miserable. We're never going to hit it. It's an illusion. It's an ideal. It doesn't exist. Even nature is perfectly imperfect. And it's better to spend a lifetime moving towards that goal, that dream, that way we want to be, that way we want to live our lives. It's better to spend a lifetime creating that, even if we don't quite ever get there, than it is to never move towards it, or to just go and we're saying, Facebook's full of memes, and there was one the other day that quoted something like 50 years in work to have 10 years left, maybe, if you're lucky, to do the things you want to do. Why put it off? Why put it off? We all have restrictions, we all have things that get in the way, but we also can create space and time to do those things. We were talking to me and Fee have been talking quite a lot recently about works and careers, and I've been really fortunate. You know, those of you who attend regularly know that I am certainly not a wealthy person as far as the bank goes. But as I was growing up, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a magician. I wanted to entertain and perform. When I first got introduced to hypnosis quite young, about 9, 10, 10, maybe 11, I really liked that. And later on, I really wanted to go into hypnosis and that side of stuff. I wanted, when I was 18, to run a pub, to have a venue. Um, Later on, when I first discovered the whole Druidry thing, I really wanted to become a Druid and work through. I'm pointing there because that's my certificate to say I did it. It took 10 years. But all these things, I never had a vision that I want to be a world famous magician with lots and lots of money and drive around in fancy cars like some of them do. I just wanted to be a magician. Well, I've done that. I wanted to be a musician. Again, I didn't want to be a famous musician. I just wanted to be a musician who played and shared music, and for 4 or 5 years it paid all the bills. Same with magic. 20 years as a performing magician. Hypnosis, I performed with it. I've obviously now helped people with it. All these things are things that I wanted to do. That if I'd had that, I've got to work in my job now, but when I retire, I'll do it then. I would never have got, I'd never have got all those things crammed into whatever time I had left, and probably wouldn't have had the energy to do most of them. So you got to find a balance. You got to find where you're comfortable and happy in life. But that leap of faith, just do it. If you're in one career and you always go, I saw a thing for psychology degrees with counselling psychology degrees come up the other day. And if that's something you've always thought you'd like to do, why go? Oh, when I retire, I'll do that because I'd like to be somebody that knew how to use those skills to help someone. Why not? And if you can't do the diploma, the degree right now, You can read, you can watch stuff, you can learn stuff, there's so many ways that you can be moving towards your goals, moving towards being that person that you want to be. There's always going to be room for improvement. Emile Coué with his affirmation of every day and every way I'm getting better and better and better. Really, otherwise I've been struggling to start my own business for ages. Not sure let me just read that properly because it only gives me what's holding me back. Fear, I think, quite often is fear. Just that, what if it doesn't work? What if you never do it? What if you never do it? If it's something you really, really want to do, what if you never do it? And that's the thing. That's that leap of faith. You know, imagine sitting down, you're 86 and you're looking back on life going, oh, I wish I'd done that. Or would you rather go at 86, do you know what? I did that and for X amount of years it was good. And there was a time when it wasn't. But that's okay because I did it. Just do it. Just do it. Best advice I was ever given when I first started the whole hypnotherapy and coaching journey. My first mentor, John, turned around to me, and on the last afternoon, he got quite frustrated with me. He's like, "What are you doing next?" I said, "Well, I might do this when I've done that, and I might do that when I've done this, and I can start doing that when I've done that." And he said, "Rob, just do it." Because if you keep going, when I do this, when I do this, you won't. You just take that leap of faith and do something that moves you closer to that goal, to that place you want to be. And it doesn't have to be, I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to work straight away. You take the mindset of it's going to be a journey and I'm going to learn and grow as a human being on this journey, whether it's starting a business. Yeah, definitely. More courses. I love it. um, but you can do it. You can do it. I mean, for me, that was one that whole kind of what if you don't was a real. If I relate that to my own journey of kind of going full time in music, and then with the magic and performing, and then and I think about some of the jobs I've done, and there's not been anything wrong with them. Especially the care work and support work I did. It was wonderful work. It benefits people. But the thought of doing that all my life and having not done the things I've done and had the experience I've had. Don't get me wrong, running the pub was great fun, but it wasn't healthy. It wasn't the best time in my life. I wasn't in the best place possible. But out of it came this community around the pub for a while, which for whilst it lasted was amazing. But just do it. It's better to be doing and working towards something than sitting down one day when it's too late and going, I wish I'd done it. And I look at things like any of the aspects of what I've done, I could have pushed and carried on with the pubs, could have pushed and done more with magic, could have pushed and done more with music. That wasn't the drive. That wasn't the drive. The drive was to actually just spend my life doing those things that I love. Um, One of the drives coming up is to move to somewhere where you don't have cars revving their engines outside your window like we do here in the high street. Anyway, just do it. Want to start your business? Just do it. What is that thing? Wake up tomorrow morning with one thing that you can do that brings that closer. Maybe it's just that you make the decision that you're going to do it. Who knows? So we've got the leap of faith. We've got our why. We've got our motivation. We've got our kind of what this is going to give for us, why it inspires us, how we want to be, what it is we want to do. We take the leap of faith. We just start doing it. We give it a go. Like I say, it can be little steps. Don't look at an overall thing. That can be a bit overwhelming. Take little steps. What can I do today? Just one thing that I can do today that brings me closer to being the person I want to be, doing the things I want to do. From there, we move into resilience. And there's one of these law things. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I could grab the book that I read it from and look it up, but I won't, because that's not the important thing, not what it's called. But It's the fact that that which is most flexible in any system will always end up in control of that system. Yeah. Resilience is flexibility and adaptability. The most adaptable people, those who can flex and adapt accordingly, those are the people who actually carry more personal power than anyone else. And on the different times in different workshops when we look at different things, I say, you know, if you've got a goal somewhere you're going, have the idea of that, but focus on the emotion and the feeling, and have a rough plan of how you're going to get there, but always be willing to flex and move with it. If you think about when we went into COVID, there was a lot of businesses, because of the size of them and because of the structure of them, and I guess the culture of them, couldn't adapt quickly. They couldn't adapt quickly. They couldn't flex with the new situations we found ourselves in. And quite a few of them went under because of that and really struggled if they didn't. However, the smaller businesses who could adapt easier, maybe it's because they just had less workforce, maybe there's less people, it was easy for them to change and move with what was going on. It made them, in that time, in that moment, more powerful than even some of the big companies who were struggling, because these guys were able to do this. Think about a reed, blade of grass, even a tree. If it was stiff and completely rigid, the wind would snap it, it would break it. And in fact, you know, when old trees get old and they start drying out and rotting, it's because they lose the ability to flex, that they start breaking. That's why branches start dropping off. That's why trunks snap, because they lose flexibility. Flexibility, it's like a superpower. Learn to adapt with change, learn to adapt and flow with what's coming. You know, as a hypnotist, in fact, if someone comes to me and they have 3 ways of avoiding making the change that they want to make, I need to make sure I've got 4 approaches. Yeah, because if I have 4 approaches and that person's only got 3 ways of avoiding the change, one of those approaches is going to get us where we want to get. So in that, there's that being prepared, you know, knowing your stuff, learning what you're doing, but also being prepared to learn and grow along the way. Never thinking that you know it all, because the moment you know it all, you stop growing. You know, life will be good. We know this, and life will be challenging. But with resilience, with that flexibility and that adaptability, one thing that's important to attempt to do is to dedicate our lives to responding in the best way possible to any situation. A great way of doing that, and 2 great things to do, is to try and find what's fun in any situation. There is always, I think, British humour is very good at kind of finding that which we can laugh at in kind of quite challenging and difficult situations. But if you can find out what's fun, if you can take what you're doing, whatever that task is, whatever that job is, whatever it is you're working on, and find the fun in it, or at least find the humour in it, it's going to help you flex, it's going to help you move more. And also just give 100%. You know, if you're going to start a new business, just do that. Make that decision, go for it, take that leap of faith and give it your 100%. You got to balance that with everything else that goes on in life. But when it's time to focus on you, that development, whether it's job, life, house, who you want to be, give it 100%. You might as well, because, you know, no one else is going to give that 100% for you. You are the best person to do that. And when we bring all this together, we find our inner strength, and stepping into our own personal power is, surprisingly, hugely empowering. When we step into our own strength, our own personal power, and it will assist us in achieving and living that successful life. And there's a method and a technique from Aikido, which is known as the 1-point method, which once you grasp it, you can use in challenging situations. So again, whether it's challenges with starting a new business, whether you're working at being a certain person and something's gone awry or there's a challenge there, this method of approaching it gives you, it brings you into your foundation, brings you into your base. And by doing that, because the problems and the challenges we have are all up here in our kind of mind. They're the thoughts and our consciousness and how we're looking at stuff and everything. So if we can move our awareness and start looking at a situation not from the top mind, but from the bottom mind, um, then we can deal with things differently. So I'm going to go through this way of approaching challenges that will give you a way of developing flexibility, and it might take a little bit to get the feel for this at first, but once you do it, and I've been using it. Some of you were on when we did the workshop on the Hara, or the Dantian, or the lower elixir field, or whatever you want to call it, but that point just beneath and below the belly button, within us a couple of inches. And so this kind of builds on that as well. And there's a real simple way to test that this works. And I did it at the dinner table just after we'd finished eating before we started today. And is if you're there with a friend, obviously not this evening probably, but if you're with a friend, you can test this out. You go through the technique, and at a certain point, I'm going to go through it, I'll tell you where that is. You get them to push you, and the likelihood is you're going to be a bit off balance. And then you go through the technique, and then you get them to push you again. You find that you're a lot more stable. Because the thing is, when life challenges us, when it throws something up, it draws on our strength, it draws on our resilience, but it throws us off balance. And what this technique will do is bring you back into balance to give you a better place to look at the situation and decide what's the best way, what's the optimal way to move forward. So what I'm going to ask you to do is think of a challenge that you're facing at the moment. Now, that challenge might be whatever that is holding you back from starting working for yourself. It might be some other challenge, but something that kind of sets you off and makes you feel a bit wobbly and unstable. So I'm going to assume everybody's got a challenge in mind, and I want you to really think about it. Think about how it makes you feel. Think about how it makes your head feel, how you're approaching it. Get a sense of that challenge and how it's affecting you at the moment. And then what I want you to do is we're going to gauge it. We're going to give it a number to represent how it's unbalancing us, how we're struggling with it. 1 means we're all chilled out with it, we're all peaceful with it, and it's no hassle anymore. 10 is like, I'm pulling my hair out with this and I don't know what to do. It might be an individual that you find challenging, it might be some sort of challenge you're facing, but whatever that is that you're thinking of now, gauge it, give it a number, and then just remember what that number is. Give you a moment to do that. So now what I want you to do is, still with that problem in mind, is just imagine taking the whole of your brain, taking a deep breath in. On the out breath, just imagine that you're moving your entire brain down through your body, into the Dantian, the Hara, basically, so it's sitting just inside you, down and below a little bit from your belly button. If it helps, place your hand over where your brain is now. And just hold your attention on that one point. And as you keep your attention on that one point, holding it there, keeping it there, notice how that feels to keep your awareness at that place. And sometimes the attention has a tendency to want to drift back up. And that's why this takes a little bit of practice. Just if it does, just move it back down again. Imagining your brain is sitting down just in the lower pit of your stomach. Take a few breaths with your awareness focused just on that point. Just on that point of balance, that center. And as you're holding your awareness, your attention on that place, think about that challenge. Think about that challenge, but think of it from an awareness of that lower point. Notice how that feels now. Your attention on that one point. If you were to give that a score of 1 to 10 from that place, what would that score now? And as you continue to focus on that one point, thinking about that old situation, that old challenge, begin to notice, however you do that, a sense of grounding within that situation. And as you continue to focus on that point, thinking of that situation, becoming more aware of a grounding sense within that, I want you to mentally rehearse. Just imagine, picture yourself performing at your best, dealing with that challenge in the best way possible, for the best outcome possible for you. Imagine, picture yourself feeling strong, resilient, flexing and adaptable. And imagine now everything working, getting past that challenge and working just the way you want it to. And as everything is working just the way you want it to, beyond that challenge, what is it that you see? What are the thoughts that accompany? How do you feel now when you are strong and in control? As you become more aware of that sense of strength, grounding and control, just bring your middle finger and thumb together. Just pinch them tighter, doubling that experience, doubling that feeling, being in control. And then release. Then return again to that sense of being in control, of being grounded within that situation, everything going just the way you want it. And as that feeling of strength and control continues to build, squeeze that middle finger and thumb together another time. Release. And then just pinch it again, doubling that feeling of strength and control. Every time you pinch that thumb and finger together. Now. And I don't know whether you'll find that solution and yourself moving forward through that challenge within the next day or so, or whether it'll take a little bit longer before you do move through that challenge the way you want to, in control, within your own strength and power. But whenever it is that you can get through that challenge now, you know that all that we've talked about so far can work powerfully for you. That's right. And just when you're ready to feel in control of that situation and feel strong within that situation, just open your eyes and be here. Just have a bit of a shake off, a bit of a fidget. And so now we're going to bring this session to the end. We're going to look at installing the third of our super states, our ultimate state of mind. We're building up to that state of mind that allows us to live more fully, more successfully, more completely. Before we can install it, we need to invoke it. We need to call it up. That absolute determination. Now, I wonder if we were sat here and you just discovered you'd won the jackpot on the lottery, whether you'd be fussed about winning the lottery, whether you'd be fussed about collecting your earnings. Would you just be like, oh, well, I'll pick them up sometimes, you know, what's 50 million to me? Or would you be pretty determined to the point that you might go, sorry, Rob, something's come up, I've got to go, and get straight on to finding out how soon you can get that 50 million in your bank? I'm imagining probably you are going to be pretty determined, willing to do what it takes to get that sorted out as soon as you possibly can. So let's install this determination switch. We're using a lot of anchoring throughout these sessions. That's because by anchoring it, by linking these states together, we create an improved and like a super state of mind, because it brings all these aspects in together. So I want you to think, first of all, have a fidget, get comfortable, and think of something that you would love to be really determined to do. So I've always had the mention of you know, starting a business. Could be that you'd love to be really determined to do that. Remember, motivation is what gets you to do it. Determination is what makes you do it and makes you succeed. So it could be a certain quality within yourself, a certain way of being, a certain way of living your life. Maybe you want to be more devoted to your meditation practice. Whatever that thing is that you'd love to be more determined to do, to really, really be determined to do. Just get that in mind. So I'm going to assume everyone has something in mind. And now what I want you to do is remember a time when you felt really determined in the past. A time when you took positive action. You were determined, you took positive action to make that thing happen, to do that thing, and as you're thinking of that, As you're recalling whatever that memory is of that time when you felt really determined in the past, I want you to be there. Go back into that memory, step into that memory, see the things you see, hear the thoughts and the things that you hear, and get a sense and notice how you feel in that moment of true, real determination. That's right. Really build it up, make it strong, make it really step into that. And now I want you to, from within that, make all the colors in that really bright, make them bolder and brighter, illuminating it even more. Make the colors of the memory brighter, enrich the sounds. You know, if there's laughter, make it sound hearty, more full laughter. If there's music, make it more rich, make it more wonderful, and make any feelings connected to that time of determination. Whatever feelings are there, amplify them, make them stronger, those feelings of determination growing stronger. And to tell yourself, go for it. Tell yourself, go for it in your most inner confident voice. Just go for it. And build all that up. Now, whilst you're feeling those good feelings and you've told yourself to go for it, I want you to squeeze your finger and thumb together. Hold that and squeeze that as you're making those colors brighter, as those feelings of determination grow and grow. From now on, every time you squeeze your finger and thumb together like that, you will feel these feelings, this sense of determination, this go for it. Just do it. Be there. And whilst you're feeling those, squeezing that finger and thumb together, just release that off a little bit. And then squeeze it back again and really step into that again. Go for it. Really feel those feelings. See the things you see. Hear the things you hear. That confident inner voice going, go for it. And then just allow that to go. And I want you to find another memory. Find a different memory of a time when you were really determined. Something you were going, I am going to do this no matter what. And you took positive action. You made it happen. And step into that memory. Step into that memory, make it vivid, make it real, see the things you see, hear the things you hear, feel and sense what it is to be back in that place now as you experience those feelings of determination. And again, make it colorful, make it bright, make the sounds richer, make the feelings more intense and more wonderful. And tell yourself again, go for it. And say, go for it in your most confident inner voice. And allow those feelings to grow, those feelings to get bigger and stronger, and then squeeze your finger and thumb together again. Pinching those together as those feelings spin and flow within you, amplifying out, enriching that memory and those feelings. And then release the finger and thumb, step out of that memory and find another memory of another time where you were just determined to get that thing done. You were so determined to get it done. You took positive action. You made it happen. Maybe there were challenges, but you moved around them and you got where you were going to go and you did that thing. Whatever memory that is, step into it now again. See the things you see, hear the things you heard, and just sense and feel that memory again. Be there now. Hear the thoughts you had, hear the people around you. Just see it, be there. Feel it and make it brighter. Make the colors of that memory brighter, make the sounds richer again, make those feelings stronger, take those feelings, spin them within you and let them build and grow stronger and stronger to the point where they just can't help but keep flowing and flowing all of their own momentum. And tell yourself in that inner confident voice, go for it, do it, go for it. Just keep saying it to yourself. And whilst you're feeling those feelings, whilst you're telling yourself to go for it, again, squeeze that finger and thumb together. Squeeze them together. And from now on, every time you squeeze that finger and thumb, all of those feelings can ramp up. You can feel those feelings now every time you squeeze your finger and thumb in the future together, as well as that clarity that we put there, as well as that self-belief that's there. And still holding that finger and thumb together, think again of that situation that you would love to be determined in. Whatever that initial situation was that you would love to be determined in, imagine it all going perfectly. as you're squeezing that finger and thumb together. Step into that future memory of how it is you're going to do that thing, how you're going to feel determined, how that determination will carry you through. See it all happening just the way you want it to happen, and step into that. Step into that. See the things you're seeing, hear the things you're hearing. Know and feel what it's like to be loving, having the determination to do that thing, whatever that is for you. That's right. Make all the colors of it bright, make it vivid, make the sounds there rich, make the colors bright, make it wonderful, make the feelings ramp up, take those good positive feelings and spin them within you, flow them within you. And now, whilst you're in this peak state, squeeze that finger and thumb together again, hold them together, take a deep breath in, take a moment to experience all that that is for you, that allows you now to really have the determination that you need to do whatever that is. Completely and fully enjoying those experiences, those amazing feelings. And then release the finger and thumb, and then pinch them again and again. Step into that future idea of you doing that thing, of being that person, of whatever it is that determination is needed for. Squeeze that again, anchoring that feeling in. So every time you pinch those finger and thumb together, whatever it is you need that determination for, you can bring that up within you and focus it in. Having clarity and vision, you can make that happen. And then release again. Just release again. And pinch it in again, one more time, pinching that feeling in. Imagine that situation, that thing that you would love to have determination in. Imagine yourself there with it now, doing it, being it, flexing, moving, flowing, coming from that centered place of the hara, being able to face the challenges, having the motivation to do it, making it happen, just doing it. Pinch that finger and thumb, allowing all those amazing feelings and just allow them to flow with you, to go with it. And then when you're ready to discover that determination now in your life, in that situation and any other situation you choose to now be determined in, when you're ready to be that person now, then release that anchor, just come back. And when you're ready to feel good, just open your eyes. If they're not open already, just have a fidget and a stretch. Just know that even though certain things seem simple, certain practices seem almost sometimes superficial, it is in the simplicity that we discover the most power. Within simplicity, we find the most strength. The best way to get something done is always going to be the simplest way. And you can simply begin to discover the determination, the clarity, and the self-belief that you need to live life as the person you want to be. To live a successful life, doing what you want to do, being who you want to be. Like we said, that doesn't necessarily have to involve money and great fortunes. It just means living a life that is fulfilling, rewarding, and brings you happiness. And so next week, we carry on building on this super state, anchoring in more of these techniques, anchoring in more of the feelings and the mindsets that you need to live that more purposeful and full and wonderful, wonderful life. So next week, we're going to look about connection. Connecting and connection. That's all I'm going to say for now.